West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, and we are back to look at the West Indies women's team. Now, I'm well aware that some people have probably clicked on this saying, Mash, aren't you going to talk about the West Indies A squads that have been released, the 50-over squad, the test squads, the exclusion of Josh De Silva? Yeah, there's loads of things to talk about. There was a press conference earlier today with Darren Sammy and Ruston Chase, etc. There's plenty of stuff to talk about, and there's plenty of content to come later in the week. There's a live show coming, various different videos dropping over the next few days. So look in for that. Press that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, etc. to make sure that you don't miss what's coming later this week. But check this out. What I've noticed is with all the copycat West Indies orientated channels, I've said this before and I'll always say it, I genuinely believe that we're the only channel that really gives any kind of due process to women's cricket. Like, we can talk for ages about Ruston Chase as captain and Darren Sammy and the men's tour versus Ireland. We can do all of that. But can I just point out to people and remind people that the women are actually in England right now? So let me just give people the itinerary in case they don't know. On Wednesday, the 21st, West Indies women play England women in a T20, and that's at Kent's Ground. On Friday, the 23rd, they play England women in the second T20 International, and that will be at Hove. On Monday, the 26th, I'll be at this game. They play England women in the final T20 at Chelmsford, which is Essex's ground. I'll be at that game. If you're going to be there, let me know. I'll definitely be there. There's an outside chance, real outside chance I'd get to the one at Kent, but it's difficult travel-wise. So that's the first three T20s. Then straight from there, the women have a bit of a break, and then they play their first ODI against England women in Derby. I'll be there for that game, the first ODI against England women at Derby, so I'll be there at that one. They then play what's the second one? Hold on, wait a minute. I might have missed out. The second ODI, or is this the final one? Sorry, people, let me get... the second ODI, they play England women at Leicestershire on June the 4th. I won't be able to get to that one. I wish I could, but I won't be able to. And then the final one is on... I need to check the date. I think it's Saturday the 7th of June. They play England women at Taunton. So over the next few weeks, West Indies women play 3 T20s and 3 ODIs against England women. And don't get this twisted. This is a super difficult assignment upcoming for the West Indies women's team. And let me explain to you why. First things first, the squad that is going, or that has turned up, I should say, in England is as follows. Hayley Matthews, captain. Shemaine Campbell, vice-captain. Alira Lane, Jazara Claxton, Afi Fletcher, Cherry Ann Fraser, Shabika Gajnabi, Janilla Glasgow, Rihanna Grimmond, Zayda James, Kiana Joseph, Mandy Mangru, Ashmini Munasar, Karishma Ramarak, and Stefani Taylor. So that's the squad that is currently in England. There were 2 main replacements from the squad that ended the World Cup qualifiers. Obviously, we failed to qualify for the World Cup a month ago or so now in Pakistan. We were a 6 or a 4 away from that stupendous innings against Thailand. 1 shot away from potentially getting to the World Cup after we essentially put ourselves behind the 8 ball, but we didn't do it. And there's been huge recriminations around that following our failure to get to the World Cup. But we've made 2 changes from that squad. Rashada Williams is out. Chanel Henry, as I understand it, has picked up an injury. She's out. And so Grimmond and Claxton came in for Rashada Williams and Chanel Henry. So the squad, like I say, is largely speaking unchanged. However, going into this game against an England team that has changed their head coach and there's been change, some of their players have retired. This series is kind of being billed by the English as the start of a new era, the Charlotte Edwards era for the England women's team. And after a down bad time, getting whooped down in Australia and generally just losing to all and sundry, this is seen as like a new genesis, a new horizon, a new beginning for England women. And they're playing a West Indies women's side that is smarting from failing to qualify for the World Cup. On paper, this has 6-0 written all over it. On paper, 3-0 defeat in the T20s, 3-0 defeat in the ODIs. One of the reasons why people would say that, and I don't say that because I've got anything against West Indies women's team, that's what it looks like on paper, right? This West Indies women's team has two of their 3 most explosive batters, or let's count Kiana Joseph. 2 out of their 4 most explosive batters are missing. Dandra Dottin still unavailable. Chanel Henry injured. So that's 2 of your explosive finishers at the back end not playing. Plus their all-rounders not playing. That significantly weakens the West Indies women's side in both formats, both the T20s and the ODI, the 50 over format, which leaves us really with a batting lineup of only, of course, Queen Hayley, who can do everything. And then you're looking at Kiana Joseph saying, across the 6 games, can Kiana Joseph come off one time? She should be able to come off once, but will she be able to come off twice? If Kiana Joseph alongside Hayley Matthews are able to come off in any one match, then yes, West Indies can win that match, most likely in the shortest format. But after that, you look at the batting lineup and it's guesswork as to whether people will contribute. Yes, Stephanie Taylor, even with all of her injuries, even though she's coming to the back end of her career, she still knows how to construct an innings. Shemaine Campbell can construct an innings. There's some promising youngsters in there, like a Janilla Glasgow. Rialana Grimond just came off the back of a good, but relative to everybody else's performances, a good T20 blaze where she scored 121 runs. The top 4 run scorers in the T20 domestic T20 blaze: Chanel Henry, Kiana Joseph, Shemaine Campbell, Rialana Grimond. So Grimond's come off some good domestic form. Zayda James has the ability to construct an innings, more so in the ODI format than the T20 format. Shabika Gajnabi has the ability. We don't see it often enough. So after Kiana Joseph and Hayley Matthews at the top, other than Stephanie Taylor maybe being able to anchor an innings with one of the top 2 still being there, you kind of look around at the team and go, don't see where the runs will come from consistently. And on one hand, you say, well, this is an excellent opportunity for the youngsters in the team and for the inexperienced players in the team to play a top-tier side like England and show that they belong at the international level. But it's such a steep learning curve. Whether for, not Lily Lane, she's 30 now, but whether for a Claxton, a Gajnabi, a Glasgow, a Grimond, a James, even Kiana Joseph, she's not that experienced, right? You're asking a lot from an inexperienced batting lineup to go up against what is probably going to be a rejuvenated England side. That said, as much as, like I said, 6-0, we know that the West Indies strength is obviously in the shortest format of the game. It's no coincidence that our best performance in the T20 in the ODI World Cup qualifiers was against Thailand. That's because the game was a shortened game. We had to score an obscene number of runs in about 11 overs and nearly came close. Shane Dites, the head coach, will say it himself. The shorter the format of the game, the better West Indies women perform. So as much as on paper you can say, oh, this should be 6-0 to England, I can see us winning a T20 game. I can see us winning one. I think it's a stretch to say that we can win the T20 series, but I can definitely see us winning one of the T20 games simply because in a T20 game, you only need one Hayley Matthews masterclass to take us home or set a total that we can defend. And yes, it shouldn't always come down to Queen Hayley, but she's so much better than everybody else in our team. And technically, she's so much better than a lot of the best women players in the world that if she puts on a masterclass performance, generally speaking, West Indies can win any game. The one thing I would say is, yes, there's question marks about our wicket taking, certainly in the longer format, in the 50 over format, there's question marks about our wicket taking ability up front with our pacers. We're still struggling to find a pace bowler that can take early wickets, which is why when West Indies women play international fixtures, we're always looking to the spinners to either bring a game back or slow down the run rate or try and get a kind of stranglehold over the game. And we know that generally speaking, Afi Fletcher will be tight. Karishma Ramarat will be tight. Hayley Matthews will be tight. Zayda James showed some promise in the ODI World Cup qualifiers. I actually think she was underbowled. She has capacity with the ball. Janella Glasgow has ability with the ball. Alira Lane got better as the World Cup qualifiers went on. She has some ability with the ball. Cherry-Ann Fraser, still some question marks about her up top with the ball, lack of consistency. Ashmini Munasar came in to the World Cup qualifiers at the back end and was very tight with her line and length as well. So we know that generally speaking, we have a bowling attack that can slow down run rate, and play a generally restrictive role without necessarily being penetrative up front, and some question marks about the back end as well. But it's better than our batting. It's better than our batting lineup. The batting lineup is very much Hayley Matthews dependent. The bowling needs Hayley Matthews, but it's not Hayley Matthews dependent. The rest can actually contribute within the context of an innings. So there's big question marks, obviously, about the side. Shane, in his press conference before coming out to England, was kind of very bullish. In fact, let me get some of these quotes. Let me get some of the quotes that Shane said. Here we go. This head coach Shane Dyche said, "Going to England is a fantastic opportunity to play one of the best teams in the world for a long time and to really test our skills and put in practice what we've talked about off the pitch. The talk is cheap off the pitch. We're going to put that talk into action and go out against England and play some good cricket. We've got the T20s first, and that's where we've played our better cricket in the past 12 to 18 months. So we're looking forward to getting the tour off to a good start and play some good attacking cricket the West Indian way. We've brought a good team to England, and we're looking forward to putting on a good performance for the crowd over there and all our supporters watching back in the Caribbean. It's going to be an excellent tour for us to re-establish ourselves as a world-class team with world-class players. The girls have been working hard since the Pakistan qualification and playing some cricket at the T20 Blaze in the Caribbean. It's now time to switch up to international cricket, put on a good display, and give our supporters something to cheer about back in the Caribbean." And I hear that. Super bullish comments. Shane is a very positive person. He'll be smarting from what happened at the World Cup qualifiers. I don't know if he'll be surprised. Yes, on one hand, but also on the other hand, he must have looked at our regional Super 50 and thought, boy, I've got some serious hard work to do with bringing up the ODI levels of this side. And the thing is, we can talk about, but Deandra Dottin's missing and Chanel Henry's missing, but we can't keep looking at the women's team and going, but we don't have Deandra and we need Deandra and obviously we need Hayley. And like, these youngsters have to be tested. This is a perfect kind of testing ground for them, because if we are going to find another set of players who can help elevate the standards of the senior international side, then they have to do it in games like this against England, however difficult it is for them and however much their techniques are going to come under scrutiny and however much pressure they're going to be put under. They can't ask for a better developmental tool than this in terms of both the facilities they're being exposed to, the pressure that they'll be exposed to. You sometimes have to hit rock bottom, and I call not qualifying for the World Cup a rock bottom for them. You sometimes have to hit that to start back on that treadmill or that kind of incline, that slow incline back to the top again. So I guess you tell me, people, everyone who's watched this particular conversation here, what can we generally expect from these England performances? If you're somebody who's in England, are you going to any other games? If you are, shout me. I will be there. For the game at Chelmsford, definitely. For the game at Derby, definitely. If you're going to any of those games, shout me. We'll do some content. We'll have some conversations, etc. But also, do you know what I want people to do? Because this is hard. Tell me your starting 11 for the T20 game and you're for the T20 series, and you're starting 11 for the ODI series. Because, like I say, without a Chanel Henry, without a Deandra Dottin, it becomes even harder to know how the makeup of this side goes. In the World Cup qualifiers, we had those conversations about, can you fit a Gajnabi, Glasgow, and Elaine in the side at the same time? Surely it's 2 from 3, but without a Chanel Henry, without a Deandra Dottin, maybe all 3 now fit into this side. What is our best batting lineup, and in what positions? Is it best to go with Hayley Matthews and Kiana Joseph up top, knowing that there's nothing really explosive at the back end of the innings to cash in? So many question marks. Shane Dietz, I hope he's got the answer. I don't. But like I say, we must do women's content, people. It's not enough to just focus on the men's cricket and pretend like the women's team doesn't exist. We rally round them the said same way. And for those of you who actually care about women's cricket and the women's team, let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Where will you be watching? Will you be watching as we gear up for the women's tour? So just to clarify, like I say, both the men and the women are playing on Wednesday. The men's team, their game against Ireland in Dublin starts at 10:45 a.m. or 11 a.m., I should say, UK time. I think that's Wednesday. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 11 a.m. UK time. And then the T20 International starts at 6:30 p.m. UK time. So you should be able to watch both games on Wednesday. Lock in, people. West Indies women, we rally round them, said same way. I've been Machel saying Patrick Hewitt, one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Content can't stop, won't stop. Whether it's women's cricket, age group cricket, men's cricket, whatever it might be, we rally around all forms and all formats of the West Indies game. I've been Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Like, share, subscribe on your way out. You know to do all of that by now. And if you'd like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, head to www.patreon sorry, have I got that right? Got it wrong. www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. Every little bit helps and counts. I'll be off to Ireland on Saturday to watch the 3rd ODI between West Indies and Ireland. So every little bit helps and counts to keeping the Caribbean Cricket Podcast show on the road. Anyways, peace, people. We got a special guest coming on the show tomorrow. Special interview, live show coming later in the week. Shows looking at the Breakout League. Shows looking at the A-Team Tour. Shows looking at the island. Everything's coming up later this week. Lock in and see you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.